Oh, this video is due for like months, and so are other 6 videos or something. But what made me actually come and record this? Wow. You're probably in the same situation. I should have done this earlier, but you didn't. The crazy part is the ones that are not procrastinating like you and I are, those are the ones that have growing YouTube channels. Shocking, right? Most people think that creating YouTube videos is all about fancy cameras, which I have just because I'm a videographer, you know, and editing skills and all the difficult whistles and bells. But it's a lot easier than you think. I worked with hundreds of business owners and I've heard all the excuses, and so I'm gonna come up with an easy step-by-step process on how you can do it yourself, because you have everything you need already. So what are your real barriers for you not to post on YouTube? For me, because I need to be consistently writing. So I came up with something simple. I started writing a weekly newsletter, and because I'm a nerd on YouTube, I love to just talk and talk and talk about the same thing. So every newsletter, every week, is so in-depth that it's already a piece of content, and I made myself accountable because I have close to 1,000 newsletter subscribers who are expecting a newsletter every week, every Thursday. So that makes me write every week. I created a system or a schedule around that, and so that made me stay consistent. The best way to stay accountable is starting a challenge. My business partner Mike has like the best way of doing it. He literally created a YouTube channel called Fit in 30. This is Mike. Hello. Okay, go. Recently, Thomas De Nielsen started a 30-day post a video on LinkedIn challenge. His business is all about LinkedIn video, but he tried to pull in other people's to stay consistent on LinkedIn and to get in that habit. If you're gonna put yourself in a 30-day challenge, it's gonna be so much easier to get used to it and actually get over the fear of the unknown. Because the real reason that you're not posting is because you have no clue what you need to do and you're unfamiliar with it and you're uncomfortable with the unknown. Now get familiar with it and then everything will be a lot easier. And so I'm gonna explain to you basically why you're overthinking each step of the way. Yes, and there's probably so many different barriers why you're procrastinating, but honestly, there's not a good reason. Oh, but I don't have a good YouTube studio. I don't know how to write, it's my second language. Oh, but I'm shy on camera. What if people make fun of me of my video? I'm not a YouTube expert. I don't know what to do with titles and thumbnails. Then let me explain you step by step what you need to do to consistently post on YouTube. And so there's 6 things. There's the idea, there's the packaging, which is the thumbnail and the title, and the hook, but that's in your writing, which is the next one. Writing, it's the recording, what I'm doing now. Then you have your editing and publishing, right? And we're all afraid of that recording and, oh, my setup is not so nice. Well, let me tell you, the first 3 steps, idea, packaging, and writing, is 80% of the success of your video. So knowing that only a slight part, which is the recording, is gonna affect how well your video is gonna do. Do you really have to stress out about that? Let's start with the ideas. It's so hard to just sit down and think of ideas. Like forcing someone to be creative is like tough. So there's a few ways to get around this, but do you know this meme where you have like the faucet where ideas come very like drips out of a faucet versus when you're on a walk, like it's a waterfall of ideas? Pop up the meme editor. Anyway, so this is so true. So it's very hard to sit down and come up with ideas, but it's easier to come up with ideas when you're out and about doing exercise or doing other things. What we're gonna do is we're gonna create a Spark file, which means it's like a video idea bank, similar to what I share in my newsletter every week. And you create that bank or that file where all your ideas go into anytime you have an idea. So when you're on your walk, when you're gymming and you come up with an idea, just note it down, note it down, note it down. That's the first way of doing things. So you have a library of ideas, and then once you sit down, you can elaborate on those ideas. The second way is really to go in depth on like research and stuff, and I already made a video on that, so I'm not gonna go into this right now. But it's basically going into the depths of YouTube, see what works and what doesn't. And this is perfect for the next step, which is the packaging as well. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. There's so many people that already have success. So why not just do what they do? Like see what thumbnails work. What titles do you always see that like look the same and work well? So you go do similar and then mimic it for whatever you're doing. As a business owner, you have probably unlimited amount of ideas already because your customers have problems. Your customers have questions. Why not turn those questions into videos? Not the questions, but the answers to the questions. Get it? Yeah? Okay. Now the last part in this 3-step part, does it make sense? Like the 80% I'm talking about, is the writing. Now, this is really no right answer for it, because what I did for this video is literally just like type how I would say it, almost in bullet point form, so I know what's connected to what, and then just like look at my phone, like where am I stuck? Yep. Then other people are better if they have a teleprompter right in front of you, where they have to say it word by word. Now the problem with that is it could be really robotic, and only if you're like a Mike who has been doing it for 4 or 5 years, you can become a genius at teleprompting. I'm exaggerating, like a few videos and you get better at it. Like there's some exercises probably you can do. Anyway, and then there's another way some of our clients now are experimenting with is like question answer. So the person behind the camera says like, hey, this is the question, and then answer it how you would answer it as an expert. Because honestly, I've been telling you already, you have everything you need. You are the expert. You know what you're talking about. Just talk about it. All right, so for the setup and recording everything, let's not overthink it. I like to say, don't let the technicalities get in the way of getting it done. Should we bleep it? I don't know if that's it. Because all the overthinking will get in the way of your creativity. So there's 4 things that you need for a good video, which is your camera's light, audio, and stabilization. And let's get into the camera. You already have what you need. Your phone, it's better than my camera, and I paid like, what, $3,000 for this camera? You could do the same job here. So no excuses. Number 2, lighting. Guess what I'm using? The sun. Guess what it is? Free. So even if you're in your studio setup and you have a window and stuff like that, position yourself in front of the window. Now, if you have limited light, there are so many cheap options. I just recommended one of the most successful lawyers in Massachusetts in the United States to buy $30 LED panels. And guess what? The best, okay? You don't need to overthinking. Now, number 3, audio. Yeah? See this? This shit is so cheap. Now, this one specifically a little bit more, but you can get it for $20, a wireless microphone. I can stand all the way over here, and guess what? You hear me just fine, okay? So no excuses. 4th thing is stabilization, and honestly, that's just a tripod, right? Like I'm using a tripod, but you just need a tripod. Or if you're on the go and you want to do more vlog style, honestly, your phone is probably stabilized enough so you can have it in your hand, but you have like mini gimbals that just allows you to have stable footage. All right, and then the last thing is the teleprompter if you're doing it in your studio. If you're doing it in your studio. Now, it's so freaking easy, man. Look at this. Can you see that on camera? Oh yeah, if we do this, it works. Okay. So see this? This is a teleprompter on my phone, and guess what? It can record me while I'm reading it off, yeah? And guess what? It's free. It's free, okay? Now, you don't have any excuse anymore to record. Like, you could literally do everything with your phone, okay? So let's move on to the last part. Almost last part. Second to last. Editing. Ooh, scary. To be honest, I would say just get an editor. You're probably overthinking it. Either get an editor, because it's such a difficult skill to really get good at and to make a difference with that skill level. I remember one of our longest clients now, they've been with us for almost 3 years actually, but their expertise is in trading. They've been doing it for like 20 years and they were still editing their own videos. They were spending hours and hours editing their own videos, which were like, Then when we came in, we just cleaned it up, made it easy, and everything doubled immediately. Anyway, side note, get an editor. It can get as cheap as possible. Funny enough, I just released a newsletter on that exact topic. So that would probably be another video. And else, if you want to do it yourself, make it easy. Like this video exactly doesn't need nice editing. It just needs the right cuts. It doesn't need... Even if you're in your studio and you're doing an educational video, just make the video logic so that you just have to cut maybe add some titles here and there for structure, but that's about it. That's as easy it is. Editor or easy cuts. No overthinking. Okay, so I gave you a lot of information. It might still be overwhelming, especially if you're like, oh, but I have to do that all at once. Like, no, you don't have to do that all at once. You can split it up. To practically do all of this, we can either do it, everything that I just explained, per video, or we can start batching. And then all of that, we can then split up. So you don't have to do it at once. So what I would say is like, day one, come up with ideas, or you're already coming up with ideas on the go. Remember, you have that Spark file. Day two, start writing, have an outline of your script, or honestly, use AI to like blurb out your ideas into the ChatGPT or Claude that we use, for example, and then ask it to structure it accordingly to a YouTube video. Don't ask it to write it word by word, but have that structure ready. Start writing the next day, for example. Then the step after, go film the next day, go and edit, or hand it over to an editor. Then you already have the ideas for thumbnail and title. So get the idea. Now, if you're batching, then do all of those split up, but for all the videos, right? Or if you're really, really, really lazy, split up the split up. Okay. Right, and so the last part is really about your mindset. Like, why are you making videos? Is it because you're feeling creative and you want to have an outlet? Or is it something that's going to make you money? Like, as a business owner, a video probably will take you money. You're writing blog posts for your website. You're creating content for your website. Yes, it's so much easier because it's way less steps, but videos convert so much better. So if you know you can be consistent on YouTube, and my favorite quote from Ali Abdaal is, if you're posting consistently on YouTube for 2 years, it will change your life. I started doing podcasting back in the day just purely to get more comfortable on camera, purely to hone in my skills and just like get better at it. And guess what now? I'm monetizing those skills. Start small. And even if a long form video like this is uncomfortable, start with shorter long form videos, like 4 or 5 minutes. Or my favorite thing is just we send our clients like 20 questions and tell them to answer it within a minute. And there you go, 20 reels. And that's like the fastest way to do it. You grab your phone, answer those 20 questions. Easy. And so before I go check out the video idea bank that we have. Like, it will just shortcut everything that you need to do basically in the description below. See ya.